very much.
All right. Yeah, we are live and waiting for people to join. Participants, 22 attendees. Amazing. Yeah, I already see 18 people, 22,
Quickly rising up.
26. Amazing. So great to have you all here today. Yeah, it's pretty exciting, I must say. A very first webinar, I think a few months back, Pontus, you also had one. Do you still remember that? It must be like 1.5 or 2 years.
Yeah, it is a long time ago now, but happy to be back, happy to be in this forum. I really do love like these kind of sessions to share interesting insights and knowledge with people, and then also the engagement together with everyone that is joining in now from, I don't know exactly where, but maybe you could write in the chat from where you are joining in from.
Yeah, definitely. A good idea, Pontus. Like really try to make let's try to make this a really like a dynamic and active session. We're happy to answer all questions you have. Hello from Estonia. Amazing.
Nice.
Answer all questions from you guys, collect them over the whole webinar over the next 60 minutes, and then I will answer at the end of the session all questions you have. Netherlands, Delft, amazing boardroom from the office. Definitely a lot of people from the Netherlands here as well. Of course, our team is joining. Customers from us are joining. Companies and people from outside our customer base are joining. That's what I at least saw with the attendee list. Sweden.
Yeah, I need to get some Nordic representation here, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
I see a question about, yes, we are recording this, so you can get the recording after we finish.
Indeed. We'll also upload the recording on our website on the same page you registered. So all good. Perfect. We have 36 attendees, full program of around 60 minutes, and to not fall short in time, I would say we kick it off right now and get things going. I'll share my screen over here.
And also feel free during the webinar, during this presentation, if you have any questions whatsoever, just to shoot them in the chat. And we will try to be good with doing them even either in the chat, or maybe if we pause for a moment with the presentation just to address it.
Indeed.
Or
Perfect.
at the end, we will collect them at the end. We will definitely address them.
Perfect. Amazing. So of the webinar, and also what drew your interest out there is a question so many people are busy with these days. I've been in Brighton like a week ago, Brighton SEO, one of the biggest SEO conferences, and you could not get around any presentation where this would not be a little part. How to win search in 2026. And from our perspective, search can be many things, right? But we know it always starts with search somewhere, a customer journey online. And we want to show you which channels, which platforms can we influence, should you influence in 2026 and beyond, and how to do it. But before we get started, let's have a quick introductions from the team hosting here the webinar, so you get to know us a little bit. I'm Max. I'm a SEO strategist with like 8 years in experience. I come from copywriting and building websites, and ultimately ended up in this beautiful place, in this amazing rocket ship of WP SEO AI 2.5 years ago. I saw the company growing, the product from the early stages, and I'm now in the middle of our own SEO, our own website, and customer success and strategic advice for our customers. Then we have Gerard, who is our go-to-market expert for our customers. He works directly with our customers and translates outcomes into where the platform goes next. And finally, we have Pontus, who runs our product team, and he's the one connecting very soon paid search into the same data loop as organic and AI search in the near future. So he's busy with how to innovate our product. All in all, we have 3 perspectives and 1 big playbook. Let's dive into this and kick it off with Gerard, who is a veteran in the online space and who is observing markets all over the place. Let's kick it off, Gerry.
Thank you, Max. Yeah, thank you for for jamming together on this one, guys. It was a lot of fun creating this deck. I think here's the headline of the entire webinar, and then just let it sink in for a second. What we're saying is you didn't lose your rankings, you lost your real estate. The search result page has fundamentally changed. And this is interesting. According to Advanced Web Ranking, AI overviews now appear at the top of 63% of all US search results in Google. So that means that most Google users in the US see AI answers instead of the traditional Google link. So if you're only optimizing for rankings, you're playing the wrong game. Can you go to the next slide, man? Well, have a look at this. This is a real Google search result from this month. The Curious SEO automation tools. And what do you see? You see 3 ads. Below the ads, an AI overview that answers the question with sources or citations, the organic results, and then more ads at the bottom. This is a SERP in 2026, and most users get their answers without ever clicking through to a website. Show some data on that later. Next one. So the SERP, what is happening? AI overviews push your content down. Ad blocks expand. So the SERP, the search engine result page, is no longer a list of blue links. It's a multi-layer visibility system. And you have to win on every single layer. The next slide, and this is also very interesting. What you see is here is the CTR roller coaster. So this graph, it shows 40 months of organic click-through rates on Google AI overviews queries, and the study is done by SER Interactive. So what you see here in January 2025, the CTR was an average of 3.90%. By December, it had crashed with almost 60% to 1.31%. So that's a lot. And then in the first 2 months of this year, it bounced back with almost 85% to an average of 2.36%. And what we see here, and the way we look at it, is this is what depending on Google's algorithm looks like. It goes up and down, and we haven't seen the last of it yet. So it has become very, very difficult to build a forecast or a strategy or even a business on this very crazy bouncing graphs. And well, this has become very difficult. Can go to the next. So here's a strategic conclusion, and it's, I think, one of the most important parts of this section. You don't want to ride Google's roller coaster. You want to take back control, and it's possible. 1, become the authority, own the organic proposition so the algorithm has no choice. 2, own page 1 with ads as well. Paid CTR was the steadiest layer all year. And 3, own the AI overview itself. Being cited delivers 120% more clicks than not being cited on the same search engine result page. So when you show up everywhere on the page, the roller coaster just stops mattering. And now let's zoom out a bit and look beyond Google, because search is fragmenting across platforms in a way most people and marketers still underestimate. AI tools are now generating 45 billion monthly worldwide sessions. That's 56% of all search volume. And to be clear, that 56% includes chats and casual prompts. But the search equivalent slice of AI search, that's where people ask questions they would usually have asked or typed into Google, is already 28% the size of Google worldwide. And ChatGPT alone accounts for 20% of search-related traffic. And 83% is happening inside mobile apps, completely outside of the browser. And if we look at the next slide, and that's the part that nobody's talking about, search hasn't shrunk. Google didn't lose volume, and AI didn't replace it. Total search demand, so AI engines, prompts, and everything combined, grew 26% worldwide between 2024 and 2025. The pie has gotten bigger, and our job and your job is not to defend the shrinking channel. It's to claim your share of a bigger one across every surface where people now search. Next one. 3 signals to take with you. AI search volume. So Google-like queries in LLMs is already 28% of Google globally. ChatGPT alone is 20% of search-related traffic and the 6th most visited website on Earth. So if your strategy is still ranking in Google, you are optimizing for just a fraction of the actual demand. So what does winning in search actually look like today? You have 3 layers. SEO is still the foundation. Rankings, content, and topical authority. We have Geo, Generative Engine Optimization, is about being cited in AI answers. And say paid search is now expanding into AI placements as well. Winning isn't picking one of these, it's playing all 3. And here's what changed. This is really interesting in my opinion. To be clear, this data you're now looking at is from Ahrefs, and this is focused on AI overviews. Only 38% of AI overview citations now come from the top 20 organic results. A year ago, this was 76%, and nearly a third of citation come from beyond position 100 entirely. So page 10 and above. And Google uses query fan out. So every AI query triggers multiple subqueries behind the scenes. And pages that show up repeatedly across those subqueries earn citations, regardless of where they rank for the original keyword. So this is insane. It's about having the information. And if you look at the next slide, where we focus on Chat GPT, it looks similar. AirOps did a similar study, but now we're focusing this slide on ChatGPT. They mapped 500,000 retrieved pages against Google top 20 results across 43,000 queries. And the pattern is very clear and intuitive. The higher you rank in Google, the more likely ChatGPT cites you. So pages ranking number 1 in Google get cited 43.2% of the time. Top 20 pages, so the page 1 and 2, account for 58.8% of all citations. But here's what's important. 44.2% of cited pages don't rank in the top 20 at all. So strong rankings give you a clear head start in the AI citations, but you can still win with citations from page 2, 5, 7, 9, 12, whatever. So the takeaway is simple. Rankings still matter, but rankings plus topical coverage matters even more. So you need to have relevant information on your website. Even if you're not ranking for the old top position, it has value. And this is what zero clicks look like in practice. Someone asks, who is the best real estate agent in Amsterdam? Which is a high intent commercial query that is used to generate 10 blue links and the whole customer journey of going through websites. Today, ChatGPT returns a ranked shortlist with ratings, status, and a one-line rationale for each. And when the user click one, the sidebar opens on the right with photos, opening hours, full address, a phone number, directions, a website, call buttons. It's essentially a Google business profile served into the chat. So the user has everything they need to make the decision and contact the business without ever visiting the website. And this is a new top of the funnel. If your business isn't being recommended in this list, you don't even get a chance to be considered at all. Very important one. So the stakes are real. It's important. AI users consider an average of 3.7 businesses per response. And 60% of AI search users make their decision without ever visiting a website. 85% of pages retrieved by AI systems are never cited in the final answer. So being indexed is not enough. Being ranked is not enough. You have to be in the answer. And here's the kicker. The last slide, and then I will hand it over to my friends Max and Pontus. This is insane. Google is monetizing the AI experience way faster than anyone expected, actually. SEMrush tracked last year 10 million keywords, and the results are crazy in my opinion. In March last year, only 5.70% of all AI overviews carried a Google ad. So it was connected. You got an answer, and 5.70% got an ad connected to it. By October, that number had jumped to 25.56%. That's almost an increase of 400% in just 8 months. And if you look at the chart, it wasn't gradual. In September, Google flipped the switch and boom, 1 in 4 AI overviews had an ad connected to it. So the key takeaway, AI search is not an ad-free zone anymore. It's become, and this is really interesting, the new prime real estate for paid placement. So any search strategy for 2026 has to assume that the AI experience and the paid experience are merging. And so winning in this era of search is not picking one layer, it's playing all three. And yeah, thanks for listening to me. For the next part of the webinar, Max and Pontus will share examples, data, proof about how we play all three layers. So Max, up to you.
Amazing. Thank you, Gerry, for these great insights. And very nice to remember the last part you said. If you want to be successful in search, and that is again connecting to the title of our webinar, then it is taking control over all 3 layers. And later Pontus will tell us that taking control is not the only thing you might need to consider, but it is also find symbiosis between all 3 layers, and that is what we will hear a little bit later. But before we go there, let's look at what happened in 2025 and what we experienced with our customers and the work.
Sorry, Max, can I maybe do a quick interruption?
Sure.
Elise has the hands upside on. Maybe
Yeah.
there's a question. It's not in
Yeah.
the chat. I don't know if the participants can also talk here, but
Yeah,
now there are two hands.
chill as well. Yeah, let's first maybe have Elisa. If you want to pose a question, you're very welcome to ask. If you unmute yourself, then we can
Yeah,
also
or
hear
put
you.
it in or add it to the chat, and we will definitely answer your question.
Yeah, indeed. If you can put your questions in the chat, then Maximilian will.
No question anymore. Sorry. No problem. No problem.
Good. Perfect. Amazing. So let's look at what we experienced with our work, what we have been doing for our customers in 2025, and bring that into perspective of what we have seen where their own traffic was going or is going, and later also look at the broader picture, how the whole industry was developing. So what you see here is a chart from February until December where we looked at organic traffic data. How much traffic did we generate for our customers? And then we have two parts. The grayish box is the total search traffic from to not pages from us, from WP SEO AI. And then you have the WP SEO AI customer clicks. And when you take one thing away from this one is that search traffic, non-web SEO AI pages stayed relatively flat, which is a good thing when the whole industry is declining, right? But what we could also see is that we steadily increased our traffic share. So the amount we are contributing to our customers' total traffic. So we are more and more involved and we are more and more taking care of our customers being found and being visible and getting traffic from organic search over the whole year of 2025. So that is when we look at the data, but how did we do that? We did it with certain content types. And this is really interesting that in 2025, the content types to be successful in search were these content types, especially comparison articles where you compare your product or service with other competitors, or how-to articles where you describe a process, how something works. And also listicles worked really well, even though someone would argue like, okay, but with a listicle, I also have to name my competitor. But this is always what we recommend our customers doing. Like, great content strategies are also objective, right? The user ultimately will make a decision. We can influence that decision to a limited amount, but when being objective, when daring to also name your competitor in a comparison or in a listicle and look at it from the outside in and try to evaluate each and every service objectively, that is great content. So we very much recommend doing that. Also, questions, educational articles were quite successful. Guides and other were the last of this list. It evolved, of course, as search behavior is evolving, user behavior is evolving. So looking at 2026, we have a slightly different picture. And that is that question and educational were rising. Comparison fell, how-to and listicles still in the midfields. So this is the content type, what we have seen in the last 3 months in 2026, which was very, very successful. We place a question in the title and then give the immediate answer, followed by relevant other questions based on the main topic. And our customers, they know this content, they know that this is a content type which is very, very successful. If you don't know this content type, you're not a customer of ours, yeah, we can find it out together what this would mean for you. But what is a question in that sense? A question is always something where somebody needs to click to find out the real answer. That's why we see the question is so successful in 2026, and we also believe beyond. A little bit of a summary, what worked and what didn't in 2025. What Gerard already said, think not only in single articles. Think about topical clusters. Think about in what kind of topic do I need to become the authority online. Move from single keywords to topical clusters. Content that answers real audience pain. What we just have seen in the question content type, if the question really addresses a pain your audience has and the user needs to click to find out the answer, then you gain another visitor, another potential customer. And if that customer only visits your page once, then you have reached one goal. You've brought one new customer in connection with your brand. And what we are doing with WP SEO AI, we create multiple of these contact points. And imagine if these users find their pain discussed and answers more and more in the content we publish together and with you and for you, then you will slightly become this expert platform or expert vendor your audience is actually looking for in the top of the funnel. But then later, if the same user is looking for solutions for their pain, you already have shown up a couple of times. Then as well, mixing long tail demands, like real people also ask questions with AI generated ideas, we found being very successful. Why is that? Because not every question is found in databases. We know that everyone is searching different, is using different words to describe pain. So we use AI to create these various types of questions people have and search for, and maybe even sometimes questions of the future. Numbers, tables, and listicles work really well for organic search, for AI retrieval. AI are statistical models. They love these things. It's easy formatted, easy to retrieve for AI systems. So very successful element you can include in your content, also in your own content, to structure it, make it more readable, not only for machines, but also for users. Pre-ultimate one, regular freshness update. And what we mean with regular freshness updates, if you are writing about a time-sensitive area, don't forget to update your content, and not only update the date of your content, but also update with relevant information, which is relevant for this year. Only updating the date will not move the needle. And last but not least, for those who are thinking about moving into different countries, different markets, publishing content in different languages, don't just translate it. That is a low content effort. That is possible, 100%. It also can create a lot of traction. But localizing content is also something that you think about your expansion strategy in the terms of what kind of other questions do people have? Like if you are delivering, let's say, heating systems for private houses, and you have different subsidies in the Netherlands or in Belgium, then people have different questions, right? In terms of funding or installation costs or local law frameworks, whatever it is, what you can localize. Find these questions, find these pain points people have in different countries regarding one topic, and then not only translate content, but adapt the content to the local pain of your audience. So these are a lot of great things which worked, which we also included in our workflows. What didn't work on the other side are the opposite of cluster strategies that you would say, like, I want to be visible for heating systems for houses, and then you write one big content piece for that. What works better is having more search intents spread out across several content pieces and building a knowledge base of different articles for easy retrieval for AI systems and for Google alike who are in need for fast information. Don't only focus on one keyword, but focus on topical clusters. Generic what is posts, I would not recommend them anymore. There's just too much competition. If you're still producing that, then your content must be very, very good and very, very much backed up by external resources, backlinks, cross references. If you are in the YMYL topics, someone might think, what is a YMYL topic? I'm talking about very sensitive topics like medical advice, legal advice, finance, insurance, all these industries. For these industries, Google has a different algorithm. And I don't know if you knew that, but Google is treating these websites in the content of these YMYL industries with a different algorithm. Why is that? It's because when you deliver false information in your content, people can actually get hurt. So therefore, there's an extra quality layer on top of it. I would never use single AI content raw and unsupervised for these YML topics. Always have an expert in the loop, double checking what you're writing about. There are some things you can do to go around this. Let's say, for instance, if you would write about elderly care, then you could write about dementia, right? But if it's not supervised, AI content or not, and not fact checked, then Google will see that and will treat it as lower quality and rank it on the lower parts, or not even index. But what you can do is think about, okay, in what kind of bubble is my audience actually in? And you could sail around with like publishing content like the 10 best wheelchair-friendly restaurants in Amsterdam, for instance. So a little bit more softer topic. If you're not successful with these expert and hard topics, try to sail around it and imagine, where is your audience dwelling in? Then something technical, which is always in our minds, we keep an eye on it, and also the whole AI search industry is keeping an eye on it. LLMs, text experiments. It's a little file on your server which should guide AI systems towards the most important pages of your website. There is no measurable impact. So you can implement it with WordPress plugins such as Yoast or RankMath. It's relatively easy to implement, but for now, don't put too much effort in it, because we know from several studies and from our own LLMs text that bots from AI systems are just not using it. Sites with technical flaws, still 100%, it doesn't work. If your website is slow and has a bad user experience, users will drop off fast, and it will also scare away AI systems. You can even see this in your log files on your server. Check your AI bot traffic. If you have a lot of offs there from AI bots, then you might have a too slow website for AI systems who are very picky, just as users are. So for the SEO and geo era, both make sure your website is loading fast, your navigation is on point, and everything is crawlable and findable.
How could a person fix an issue like that?
That is a super good question. And see, it all starts every time it all starts with your hosting, right? If you are on a shared server and you didn't update your PHP version for like 2.5 years and you're still on 7.4, then you might have a problem, right? It starts with the hosting. So check your hosting, check that it's all updated. And if you are on a shared hosting with a gazillion other websites and you're still having problems, it's sometimes a little bit more a cost question, but it's a very low-hanging fruit if you need a fast solution. So start with your server, check that, solutions there. And if that is all in place, go to your WordPress website and use plugins like WP Rocket, for instance, or other caching plugins to optimize the website speed of your website. And we are very happy. We're in partnership with WP Rocket, and we can also do that for you if you would need that. Of course, there are some technical flaws. We cannot fix everything, right? We cannot fix your images. We cannot fix your layouts, but we can advise you on what to fix, because in our own platform, we have the capability to surface all the problems we need to fix. Most of them we can fix for you. A few of them we can advise you to fix. And then last but not least, for e-commerce, if you have product category pages and filter pages, where you list all your products, if you have low content there, don't be surprised that they don't rank. Try to find questions people have in your product category and answer them on your product category pages. start with a headline, with an introduction, then list all your products, and very much down below, try to answer the relevant questions people have in your product category and give your category pages more meat, more helpful content. So when you remember the left column of what works, then it produced some results. We found that in 10 out of 10 months, we outperformed the rest of our customers' pages in terms of growth. Comparing that to global organic traffic decline found by Reuters Institute of minus 33%, that's absolutely crazy. So in 2025, even if you stayed flatlined, it was a great success, right? But the industry stranded goes down. What have we learned? Through zero-click searches, people find their answers already in the AI overviews or in a window with GPT. And if you wonder, yeah, does it work for my country? Yes, it does. We looked at data from 3 different countries, and we could see in all 3 countries, we had a look at positive numbers in terms of growth. But you might now ask, like, but yeah, Max, that is all like organic and that's traffic, right? But what about business and what about conversions? And like, didn't you forget something? You know, you're talking about SEO and geo, but what about SEA? What about paid ads? And for this, I want to hand over the mic to our head of product, Pontus Backman.
Thank you so much, Max. Great presentation, guys. And I hope that everyone that is still on the line is enjoying all of these that are being dropped now from both of these areas. And my idea here is to close the loop a little bit with SEA, paid search. So we know, and I imagine that there is probably people listening right now that have at some point in your lifetime of your business tried out paid ads. And if not, let me know in the comments. Would be super interesting to see like how many people actually have tried this out or not, because I think that would also connect back a little bit to what I will share with you guys now. So we realized that we started with SEO. We expanded to geo. We then realized that we were missing a very crucial part of online visibility, which is the paid version. So we thought about this for a moment and realized that search isn't actually a separated motion here. It basically runs, if you think about it, on the same time of data, signals, and conversion intelligence that you need to have when you think about organic, for example. Geo and LLM is a little bit separated here, yes. But when it comes to SEO and SEA, there's quite interesting learnings that we found out. So we had a theory that if we could use the same methodology we did for creating pages that ranked organically, also for SEO, we could bridge a very interesting gap that I will speak about in the next slide. So actually, Max, if you go back to the other slide, there you go. Nice. I still want to stay here for a moment and talk about campaigns from organic. So we realized that you could actually run very profitable SEA campaigns on long tail keywords. What we want to do within our platform is to build a way for you to do this and connect it to the workflow that Max already spoke about, that you very quickly touch as well when it comes to the generative engine optimization part. And we realized that this also allowed us to have a higher quality score of the ads that we could create within the platform, but also decrease the CPC. And many of you have probably already seen this as well, that we have the AI overview ads, which you saw a significant increase how often they appear today. If you are in the loop, you also probably saw that ChatGPT opened yesterday in the US the possibility to add ads for their platform as well. And in Europe, we will always be the little brother that is a little bit ahead with more rules, regulations. You know, the first kid is always the one that can go a little bit crazy, and then the second one, yeah. They keep a little bit more eye on that. But yes, that is also happening. And this is something that you need to really pay attention to. Because as you saw, the surface in the generative engines that we have over there is really a good surface to be in. And yes, so what we wanted to do is unify this. We wanted to have one place where we can combine these different things and allow you the access to actually see what you spend, how you rank, mentions, and then connect this back to revenue. And now, if you go to the next slide, Max, within the platform that we have today, we wanted to also, beside this, build an intelligent layer around this. So now, I don't know if anyone actually answered if they ran ads before or if they used Google Ads, but if you have, you probably already experienced that the platform and the experience and everything to get this up and running takes time. It's a bit of a threshold to actually get there. And then even though that you have these kind of challenges along the way, there's still a very crucial part that we're missing, which is how do we connect this in a good way to what we already do with organic content? So what we wanted to do is have a place where you could actually look at the pages that you have organically and then boost these with the right type of ads, with the right type of long tail keywords to then achieve a higher quality score of the ads. I actually think that this is in the next slide. Yes. And then being able to connect that back into the results. So I will quickly show you also in a moment how this actually looks and works in practice so that you will get a better connection to what I'm talking about right now. But the interesting part is that, as I mentioned in the beginning, we started our journey by working with long tail keywords for SEO, which was extremely successful. We slowly expanded the platform to then also cover the geo part. And then we productized the same workflows we had for SEO now for the SEA. And as you can see here on the numbers, we made a bunch of tests for a lot of customers to see, will this theory that we had actually work out in practice, which we could see. And as you can see here, 91.8% searches are long tail. And if you think about yourself, when you search for anything, when you go to Google, or if you are sitting there in ChatGPT or Gemini or any other engine, how does your searches look like? And also go back to what Sherry said about how the LLMs are actually searching as well. They also use longer queries that are connected to the topic. But we saw actually with this test that we could lower the CPC quite a lot, 36%. And this was just a confirmation that what we thought could work actually did work. So if we go to the next slide, Max.
Maybe a quick question from Tim,
From who?
because there's nothing in the chat, but
Okay. Hey, Tim.
but a hand.
You are so welcome to ask a question. I think
Yeah,
that the only
or
thing you need to do is unmute yourself.
and type it in the chat, Tim, and we will definitely answer your question at the end.
Yes. All right. Okay. All right. So we spoke a little bit about ads just now and how you can connect this back to what you do with your organic visibility and how you do it with your organic visibility in the LLM engines. And think about it like this. Today, most of the companies are trying to achieve the same thing. They want to be visible online. And most of the companies also use various different tools. You have Google Analytics to help support understanding the user's behaviors on the page, also see the conversions. You have Google Search Console to see the raw data, the clicks, what happens with all of the efforts that you put down to SEO. You have Google Ads to see what is happening when we're actually putting money into creating ads and then getting conversions. So you have these various different data sources, but they don't speak to each other. So you can't really take and make a good decision on what you should do on your website without trying to connect the dots yourself. So as you can see in front of you right now, we want to move closer towards a place where this wouldn't be an issue anymore, where we could actually connect all of these different data layers all together and create one feedback loop. So Max, if you could go to the next slide. So every page, every channel, one intelligent overview. So think about a functionality where you can actually make the connection between 4 different places. So you have the intelligence from your website with the content. You have the organic data from Search Console. You have the data from Google Ads, and then Google Analytics, and then you would also, on top of that layer, be able to see for these pages, where do we have mentions and citations. So we're basically connecting these 4 together. And that is exactly what we want to achieve next year. If we go to the next slide. So I wanted to give you a bit of a sneak peek, both how the SEA dashboard looks like, how easy it is to look at a page and then look how the system gives you options on how to create these campaigns and how fast you can actually have them live, up and running. So I will see if I can actually manage to share my screen. All right. Okay, I think that you should now see the dashboard for our SEA feature. Am I right? Good
Yes.
stuff. So what we want to achieve on this page is that we connect our Google Ads account. When we connect our Google Ads account, we'll get all of the data for all of the existing campaigns and all of these different metrics that you can see here first on this performance overview. So this is just a way for you to visualize and see, are we trending towards the right direction? But I wouldn't want to pay too much attention to this because, of course, I don't know about other people. I tend to be a bit of a lazy person, so I want the systems to do the job for me. That is also why we built this smart filter functionality, which is an intelligent motion that works in the background to analyze all of your different campaigns that you have up and running to then identify, do we have any ads running currently that we need to fix the quality score on? If we are wasting budgets, if we should improve this ad by optimizing the titles or the descriptions, or if you should scale the budget. Let's say that you have an ad that is performing way above the limits that you set, and then you want to know, and so on. So the system will basically tell you what to do, and then you will be able to execute this directly within this dashboard. Now, you have the same functionality here as you would have in Google Ads to be able to manipulate the keywords and also pause and do all of the actions that you want to do. But what about creating campaigns? So I explained to you that it would be super easy. So let's say that we are looking at a page here. How do I turn on Google AI mode? If I would like to now create a Google ad for this, I would jump into this tab, into the SEA feature, and then boom, automatically we have 8 different keyword groups that has been created based on our existing data that we have from Google Search Console on this page. It will automatically showcase what kind of campaign suggestions that you could easily accept and have live with just one click. And of course, all of these are fully customizable for you so that you can actually customize and tweak whatever you would like to do on this. And then finally, one of the things that is probably my favorite feature right now, which is a way for us to actually connect this back now, where we could see data from Google Analytics and then understand from what channel we're getting the most conversions and where we need to pay attention, and also the numbers around this. So I will actually stop my 3-minute sneak peek into the platform. We just want to showcase a potential that if you are struggling with understanding this, there are solutions out there that can actually help you along the way. So speed run. I think that the closing statement here is quite a nice one. Search is no longer a channel. It is becoming an ecosystem. And companies that wins are the ones to show up everywhere. In the organic, in AI answers, on the paid placements. And this is how you get search visibility. And of course, we are not only robots working in the background, having AI doing all of the heavy lifting for us. We have such an amazing team behind every action that is executed within our platform. This is our biggest assets in our company. I couldn't be more proud of the team that we have and are making this possible for us to sit here today, share this with you, and also being able to create what we share today, the numbers, the success, and all of it. So our goal is definitely to augment humans and make sure that we give the right tools to help them become as powerful as they possibly can without losing that human touch.
Amazing. That was amazing closing words, Pontus. Thank you so much, also Gerry, Maximilian, for being here. We have 5 minutes left. Thank you so much for everyone who bared with us in the last 55 minutes. Thank you for your questions. Now it's the time to open up, of course, but before we open the questions, we will publish this recording on our website as promised. And you'll get a shareable link to the page and to the recording for your friends, for your colleagues, for everyone you want to show and inspire with what you learned today. But if you want to go a little bit deeper and you're like, wow, that is really something interesting, I want to discover what's possible for me, then there is also a possibility to
Get in contact.
Get this done, get in contact with, and make sure that you find the right contact person. Just bear with me before scanning that. Just one little moment. But I also already want to open up for questions you might have. If you have some, then please, now it's the time to actually put them in the chat and let us know what caught your interest and where can we still assist you right now.
Yeah, Max, there was one, Abdul Latif had one question. So the first speaker, that would be me, said ranking is not enough. You have to be everywhere. I need a little more explanation about that. But now I think it's just the same as ranking. I don't think ranking is very important, of course. It's a very important factor. But in this new ecosystem, in this new era, top rankings no longer guarantee visibility and traffic because we have AI answers and we have ads. So traditional rankings have become, of course, important because it says something about the quality of your information, but it's not the only way to win this game. And that's what we try to explain. I hope this answers your question, Abdul Latif. If not, please scan once and we can have a conversation outside of the webinar.
Perfect. Yeah, thanks, Hedy, for answering that. If you scan the QR code right now, we'll have everything ready for you to get in contact with us and to explore more options. We have 2 minutes left, and I wanted to use this as well, if there are no more questions from the audience, to thank everyone for being there, for sticking with us until the very end. And of course, we'll keep on producing webinars like this because our job is as well to keep you updated. Our job is also educational, right? And we love doing that together and together with you. So this is the start of our new webinar series, and we'll get the message out there once the next webinar is starting. It'll always be the same structure what we have right now, that we give you insights into what moves the market, what moves users, what is working for us, and what we can recommend for you doing, plus regular product updates from our side. Sometimes we have more, sometimes we have less, but I hope you enjoyed this round. And from my side, thank you for being here and see you with the next one.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, guys.
Bye-bye.